Alright, so you're going to be doing the graphing systems inequalities online. Now the thing is with these is that if you miss one little thing, it's going to be wrong. It'll make you start all over, right? So what you're going to do now, and even when you start doing this on the Chromebooks, you want to use these whiteboards to show the work and to graph it, and then copy it over to the computer screen. You do not want to work only off the computer because there's too many things that can go wrong with shading, flipping signs, solving. You need to have all the little details correct. So let's start. Minus 2x minus 4y greater than or equal to negative 8. Blue. Okay. And of course, you'll show all the work as neat as possible, because again, if you miss one little thing, if you miss one little negative, it will mess it up. Alright, so start there, and then be very careful on the details. Write every little negative clearly and big enough so you don't miss anything.
You're right.
Oh yeah, thank you. Minus 8, there we go. Alright, and we have to divide by whatever number's in front of the y. So this is a negative 4, divide everything by negative 4. Now, since we divided by a negative, switch that inequality sign, and you should be able to identify that now from the very beginning. If you see a negative in front of the y, you know you're going to end up flipping that sign eventually. So we have y is less than or equal to. Now, you might have to reduce some of these fractions, so like divide top and bottom by 2, because 2 goes into both of them. So we'll have 1 over 2 negative x, and negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. So you see how many little things can go wrong. If you miss one of these, it'll make you start them all over. So be very careful and show all the work. And then let's do the next one. Write that down as well. There we go. So this is going to be negative 3x plus 6y. I think this was less than negative 12. Alright, same thing, being very careful, writing big, not missing a negative. So we've got to add 3x to both sides. Write this down with me. So you have it all down. You're going to be graphing this next. So you need all this written down. So we have 6y less than 3x minus 12. Then we can go through and divide by 6 everywhere very carefully. This time it's positive, so we're not going to flip the sign. We'll leave it as a less than. So, and the fraction we can divide top and bottom by 3 here. Right? 3 and 6 both divide by 3. 1 over 2 x. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into 3 1 time. Negative 12 divided by 6 is minus 2. So using both of those, do it like this. Using both of those, we can start to graph. Go ahead, you guys graph it on your whiteboards, and I'll do it up here, and let's see if they match. So the first one we should start at 2. Right? And we go down 1, right 2. So down 1, right 2. It's a solid line, so you could do the solid dash right here. We'll keep solid. And it is less than, so I'm going to shade the other side. Shade it down. And then here, I'm going to start at -2. And I'm going to go down 1, right 2. And this one is shaded up. No, sorry, this one's shaded down as well. So that's shaded below. So you see the shading actually overlaps anything below this green line here. Now be careful because there's one more question down here. Is -4, -7 a solution? So you look to see if -4 and -7 is in the shaded region. Or at the very least, it has to be on 2 solid lines. No dotted lines allowed. So if it's in the shaded region or 2 solid lines, then it is a solution. If not, then no. Okay. And then we can go ahead and if you haven't made any mistakes and you've been really careful, you'll get it right. If not, like mine, you just missed one little thing. You see, you missed one little thing and it says it's not quite there. So be careful because you have to get every little detail right. So on this one, I just forgot to do one little dash here, right? And that's all it takes for it to be wrong. It's just forgetting to do a solid or a dashed line because there is no line underneath here. So be very careful on that part. Okay? All right, I'll give you another one. We'll have you go ahead and try that. So let's try this one out. We have to do 4x plus 2y, and this is what you have on your whiteboard. First, we subtracted 4x both sides. Okay, so I'll get a 0 there. So we have 2y greater than or equal to -4x minus 4. Remember, just rewrite these with the x first and the number second. Divide everything by +2. So we have y is greater than. -4 divided by 2 is just -2. And -4 divided by +2 is -2 again. Now if you like, you can make this -2/1, so it's down to right 1 when you're graphing. So let's go ahead and graph. Start at -2, go down to right 1 on here. Okay, so start at -2. Go down to right 1, and it should be shaded, let's see here, up with a solid line, so that's already correct. The next one's already solved. Start at 5, and then go down, up 3, right 2, that's positive, so up 3, right 2. Okay, so that's how that looks, and that should be shaded down, so I'm going to look at that. That's up, that's down, so I'm going to leave it down. And then lastly, there's going to be one question more down here. It's going to ask you, is this point that they give you down here, in this case it's 0, 5, is that in the shaded region? Okay, now it has to be in both. Okay, so like here, since this is a solid line, it does count. And if it goes across a solid and a dotted, it does not. It has to be 2 solids or 1 solid. So no dotted lines allowed as a solution. So it's clicked yes. And then if we made no mistakes, you guys agree with this? This is what you got? Same thing, right? Yep. I hope so. Okay, and then yep, it says it's correct. So be very careful. Make sure you use the whiteboards. Do the problems just like you are right now. Do the whole problem, shading and everything, and then go to your screen and transfer it over. Do not try to take a shortcut and say, I'm just going to do it on here, because there's too many mistakes, especially with this part where you have to solve. Okay? If you miss one little thing, it's all going to be wrong and you start all over. So do it on the whiteboard, then transfer it over to the screen. Okay? All right.